At 50, I had learned to embrace life's quiet moments and the wisdom that comes with years of experience. Yet, on a cool autumn evening at a local charity gala, I found myself stepping into an entirely unexpected chapter. I had always believed in giving back, and tonight, I attended the fundraiser at the elegant community center to support a cause dear to my heart. The venue was adorned with soft, warm lights and gentle music, setting a tone of hope and renewal. I mingled among kindred spirits and listened to inspiring stories, my heart lightened by the shared mission of making a difference. Amid the buzz of heartfelt conversation, I noticed a young man whose presence seemed to illuminate the room, a man whose eyes shone with an earnest passion for life. Before we start, thank you for coming to my channel. Your participation is my happiness. Let me know where you are and what time it is now. Okay, now let's get into the story. His name was Ethan, and at 28, his youthful energy and genuine smile stood in contrast to the careful, measured way I had learned to live. As our paths crossed near the refreshment table, his warm greeting and soft, engaging tone sparked an instant connection. We exchanged pleasantries that felt both refreshing and surprising, as if the years between us melted away with each shared laugh and knowing glance. In one quiet moment away from the crowd, Ethan and I found ourselves in conversation beneath the gentle glow of a corner lamp. His hand brushed lightly against mine as he reached for a cup of cocoa, a simple, tender touch that sent a cascade of sensations through me. A reminder that life still held surprises. His eyes, filled with both determination and vulnerability, mirrored a spirit unburdened by convention. Though our ages were different and our life paths had been distinctly separate, there was an undeniable spark, a promise of possibility that stirred deep within me. That night, as I left the charity event with the soft echo of his smile and the warmth of his brief touch lingering on my skin, I sensed that I was on the threshold of a new beginning, one that might just rewrite the narrative of my life in ways I had never imagined. And so, under the starlit sky of a city poised for change, my heart quietly whispered, perhaps it's never too late to discover love in its most unexpected form. The day after the charity event, my phone buzzed with a message from Ethan, a gentle reminder of our unexpected meeting. Despite the lingering memory of that tender touch and the spark in his eyes, I couldn't shake a familiar caution. I was 50, and the idea of pursuing a relationship with someone 28 made my heart flutter with both excitement and apprehension. Ethan's message was simple. Would you like to join me for dinner tonight at the little bistro on 5th? I'd love to continue our conversation. I hesitated before replying. Part of me was drawn to his sincerity and the warmth he had shown me, yet another part of me worried about the vast difference in our worlds. After a few moments, I responded with a tentative yes, mindful of the boundaries I'd set for myself. That evening, in the cozy ambience of the bistro, Ethan arrived with an easy smile that immediately softened the tension in the air. As we talked, his youthful enthusiasm and thoughtful observations lit up our conversation. Yet every so often, when his hand brushed mine across the table or when he leaned in close to share a secret, I felt a pang of uncertainty. I gently excused myself to sip my water, trying to collect my thoughts. I know we come from different eras, I admitted quietly when we resumed our seats, and sometimes I worry that the gap between us might be too wide. His eyes held neither judgment nor impatience, only a steady kindness that made me pause. I understand, Ethan said softly, reaching across the table to take my hand in his. I'm not asking you to change who you are or the experiences you've had. I just want to know you, to share moments that make us both feel alive, even if our paths are different. His words resonated deeply, stirring emotions I'd long buried beneath caution. Later, as we stepped out into the cool night air after dinner, he wrapped his arm gently around me. In that embrace, I felt both the security of his sincerity and the pulse of something new. When he pressed a soft, fleeting kiss against my temple, my heart skipped a beat. Yet even as the warmth of his affection invited me to lean in closer, I couldn't fully surrender. I pulled back slightly, not out of rejection, but to remind myself of the careful line I was treading. There was a part of me that hesitated, questioning whether it was wise to follow this unyielding pursuit. Still, as I watched him with eyes full of earnest hope, I knew I wasn't ready to say goodbye to the possibility of this connection either. That night, as I lay awake in bed, the tender memory of Ethan's gentle touch mingled with my conflicted thoughts. I realized that while my heart whispered caution, It also longed to explore the spark he had so unexpectedly ignited. And so, even in the quiet of my uncertainty, I found myself wondering if sometimes the most profound journeys begin when we dare to step beyond our fears, even if only just a little. Later that evening, after our heartfelt dinner, Ethan and I left the bistro and strolled along the quiet, rain-kissed streets. The city lights shimmered on wet pavement, and the cool night air wrapped around us as if urging us to draw closer. Without a word, his hand found mine, warm and reassuring as we walked side by side. Every shared glance and soft smile hinted at a connection that went far beyond our differences in age. As we reached a peaceful park corner, the gentle hum of nature around us made the moment feel almost magical. Ethan leaned in, his eyes searching mine, and our lips met in a tender kiss that deepened with each heartbeat. It was a kiss filled with quiet promise, a delicate blend of longing and comfort that seemed to whisper, "We are here, together, and all is possible." Before long, the night had woven its enchantment around us, and we both knew that our evening was far from over. With a gentle nod and a warm smile, I invited him back to my apartment. Inside, soft lighting and a carefully arranged living space provided a quiet refuge from the chill outside. We settled onto the plush sofa, where Ethan's embrace was both protective and inviting. His arms wrapped around me, and I felt the steady beat of his heart as our conversation softened into tender silences. In the gentle privacy of that space, our connection grew more intimate. We exchanged whispered confidences and shared soft kisses that spoke of a passion quietly reawakened after years of careful restraint. The world outside faded until there was only the warmth of his hand on my waist, the lingering touch of his fingertips, and the comfort of being held close. As midnight approached, the gentle intimacy of our shared moments lulled us into a peaceful sleep, wrapped in the safety of each other's arms. In that quiet surrender, every tender touch and soft caress became a promise that this new chapter of life held the chance to heal old wounds and ignite a passion I had thought was long forgotten. In the silence of the early morning, as the first light crept through the curtains, I awoke with the tender memory of his warmth still wrapped around me. That night marked the beginning of something transformative, a delicate journey of rediscovery, where every heartbeat echoed with hope and the promise of a beautiful, unexpected future. Thank you for listening to the story so far. Your encouragement means a lot to me. Please comment and share your thoughts here. I love you and I am so grateful to have you on this journey with me to explore the story further. The morning after our tender night together, I awoke with a lingering sense of warmth and hope, memories of soft kisses and gentle embraces still vivid in my mind. Yet as the day unfolded, subtle signs began to disturb that fragile peace. Over breakfast, I noticed Ethan's phone buzzing repeatedly, his attention divided by furtive glances and half-smiles as he quickly dismissed my questions about his messages. Later that afternoon, while running a few errands downtown, I paused outside a familiar cafe. Through the large windows, I saw Ethan seated at a corner table, not alone. Another young woman, laughing and leaning in close, shared his attention in a way that was unmistakably intimate. My heart sank as I realized that the charming, earnest man who had so gently pursued me was also freely engaging with others. Shattered illusions raced through me like icy shards. I recalled our shared moments, the way his hand caressed my waist, the soft promise of his kisses that had sparked so much hope within me, and now these tender memories clashed with the painful truth of his divided affections. I felt both betrayed and bewildered, a cocktail of hurt and confusion stirring in my chest. That evening, when Ethan returned, I confronted him with a trembling voice laced with sorrow. "Ethan, I saw you today with her. Is there something you need to tell me?" His eyes, usually warm and inviting, now flickered with uncertainty. He hesitated before offering a vague explanation that left more questions than answers, a confession of enjoying the company of many, as if our connection was just one of many fleeting interests. In that charged moment, the room felt unbearably small, the intimacy of our previous nights now tainted by deception. I felt my heart tighten in a blend of anger and heartbreak. The tender vulnerability I had allowed him into my life clashed with the reality of his divided affections. Even as tears welled in my eyes, a part of me, fierce and resilient, knew that I deserved honesty and a love devoted solely to me. As the night deepened, I lay awake in the quiet of my apartment, the echoes of his gentle touches now replaced by the harsh reality of betrayal. In the solitude of those dark hours, I began to understand that sometimes even the most promising beginnings can be marred by painful truths. And as I contemplated the road ahead, I vowed to rediscover not only the passion that had awakened within me, but also the strength to face this new chapter, one where I would no longer settle for half-truths, but rather pursue a love that honored every tender promise of the heart. In the days that followed our painful confrontation, subtle signs began to unravel the fragile hope I once clung to. One evening, as I quietly returned to Ethan's apartment after a brief visit, I discovered a series of messages on his phone, flirtatious texts, playful emojis, and mentions of rendezvous that left no doubt I was not his only focus. The shock that hit me was not as explosive as I'd imagined, but it was deeply shattering. I recalled the tenderness of our shared nights, his gentle kisses, the soft pressure of his hand on my waist as we lay together. Each intimate moment now tainted by the realization that his affection was as fleeting as his charm. That night, while I lay awake in his bed, the warm afterglow of our physical closeness clashed painfully with the cold truth in my heart. I could almost hear the echoes of his laughter from earlier hours, shared with another, a reminder of how easily he shifted his attention between fleeting pleasures. I felt the weight of betrayal settle in, and every tender caress now seemed a masquerade for his habitual allure. The next morning I confronted him. With a mix of sorrow and steely resolve, I asked for the truth. His eyes, once full of promise, now revealed a casual nonchalance. "I'm sorry if it hurts you, but I've always been drawn to the thrill of the chase," he confessed, his tone unrepentant. He admitted that his charm wasn't reserved solely for me, that he relished the attention of many, a habit he simply couldn't give up. In that raw moment, the intimacy we had built over whispered confessions and soft embraces crumbled before my eyes. I realized that every loving touch, every tender kiss, was part of a well-rehearsed performance, a facade behind which lay the truth of his womanizing nature. My heart ached as I recalled our previous nights, now tainted by the knowledge that his passion was not exclusive, that I was merely one of many in his pursuit of ephemeral affection. As I gathered my scattered emotions, the realization settled in. The connection I had hoped to nurture was based on half-truths and empty promises. The journey ahead, once filled with the prospect of renewal and tender intimacy, now demanded a reckoning with deceit, a painful but necessary step toward reclaiming my own truth. In the wake of Ethan's cold confession and the painful unmasking of his deceit, I felt as if the delicate foundation of our shared dreams had crumbled beneath me. The tender memories of our soft kisses and gentle embraces now clashed with a harsh reality, leaving my heart fractured and aching with betrayal. In the days that followed, I found myself withdrawing into a solitude I had long tried to escape. My once vibrant world of community events and bustling interactions turned into a quiet sanctuary of introspection. I spent long hours in the silence of my apartment, each moment marked by the echo of lost promises. Every time I closed my eyes, I could still feel the ghost of his touch, a bittersweet reminder of what once felt so real, now tarnished by deception. I avoided the familiar streets and social gatherings, preferring the company of my thoughts and memories instead. Even the gentle hum of a favorite song or the warm glow of sunset, once capable of sparking hope, now served only to deepen the void of loneliness. I retreated into old habits, reading, journaling, and wandering slowly through my quiet neighborhood, searching for answers in the whispers of the wind and the soft murmur of distant traffic. Yet amid the isolation there was an undeniable ache, a yearning to heal and reclaim the self I once knew. Though I had withdrawn from the world, every tender memory of our shared intimacy lingered like a soft imprint on my heart, urging me to eventually find the courage to mend the fractures. For now, though, I allowed myself the space to grieve, to reflect on the cost of misplaced trust, and to gather the strength needed for whatever new chapter might someday emerge from this silence. And that's it for today's story. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below and share your feelings. Did you relate to any of the characters? Or if you were in their shoes, what decisions would you make? I'd love to hear from all of you. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, hit one. Subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.